The siren screamed before I even opened my eyes, red and blue lights slicing through the frost like a knife. And there she was, HOA Karen, standing on my porch with her arms crossed, pointing at me like I had broken some unthinkable law in my own home. And I thought, this is my cabin, my space, and I didn't do anything wrong. But the moment felt frozen in time as the neighbor peeked from behind a tree, whispering, "She actually called the cops. Just 4 days ago, everything was quiet, peaceful even. I had found a modest cabin tucked between towering pines, a place to escape the city chaos, where mornings smelled of coffee and evenings glowed gold through wide windows. Life had finally slowed down, and for a moment I felt safe. At first the neighbors were polite, some even welcoming me with baskets of bread. But then came Karen, clipboard in hand, her smile sharp and calculating, a silent warning I didn't recognize until it was too late. I remember the welcome meeting clearly. Her eyes didn't reach her smile, questions probing like a lawyer in a courtroom, tiny jabs about property rules, and I should have known no one smiles like that without a reason. The first knock on my door seemed normal. "Just checking in," she said, but soon it became every day. Her shadow stalking behind trees, letters on my mailbox criticizing my garden, my siding, my leaves. Her constant presence like an icy draft that wouldn't leave. I tried reasoning, sending polite emails, citing regulations, staying calm, but the notes escalated. The threats piled up, and I found myself glancing over my shoulder, even as I brewed coffee, read by the fire, or walked the dog. She said if I touched my mailbox again, she'd call the cops, and one day she did. So I froze as my phone buzzed. 911 called suspicious person on the property. My stomach churned as I opened the door to flashing lights, 2 officers approaching, wary but polite. Karen stepped forward, triumphant, ready to accuse me of trespassing, but the moment shifted when the officer asked, "Do you know who you're speaking to?" She faltered, blinking rapidly, realizing her mistake as I calmly handed over my ID, a name with weight in the community, years of service, connections she hadn't considered. Suddenly her clipboard and authority shrank under the weight of truth, and I felt a strange calm wash over me. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I let the silence speak, letting her realize she had overstepped, that my home wasn't hers to control. "It's my home. Always has been. Always will be," I said softly, and the tension cracked. The officers nodded, keeping distance while Karen's power evaporated in the cold night air. By morning, the HOA sign in her yard was gone, and whispers of her overreach flowed through the neighborhood like wildfire. People talked, votes were held, legal actions followed, and quietly I watched the cabin regain its peace. No sirens, no cameras, no notes, just mornings with sunlight and evenings with shadows that belonged to me. Justice had been delivered silently, carefully, perfectly. And the best part? Some people only remember they're not kings when the gavel falls, and others, like me, remember that patience, quiet vigilance, and refusing to be intimidated are the real victories. So if you ever feel powerless, remember this story. Staying calm, knowing your rights, and letting actions speak louder than words can turn fear into freedom. And to everyone watching, if you've ever had a neighbor who went too far, share your story in the comments. Hit like if you felt the tension, and subscribe to see more real-life stories of quiet victories and justice served. Because sometimes the most satisfying wins aren't loud. They're the ones you can sip your morning coffee to, finally at peace in the home you've earned.